Right, dedicated lanes. Everybody wants them. Nobody has them. Let's talk about it. Or actually, not that. Let's talk about the realities of dedicated lanes and why we kicked most of our customers, and we mostly doing spot market.
Yeah,
at
because
current times.
I for sure think, man, dedicated lanes has a definitely dark side to it. It sounds gravy, as always, superficial. It's a great recruiting tool. A lot of people salivate and are drawn towards it. But the idea behind it is, man, operationally, man, I think it'd be just a major, major nightmare. Getting drivers to cover alternative work because there might be a spike drop in that dedicated. Company trucks are not, shit don't matter. It becomes problematic.
Yes, and I think most of that frustration comes from a lot of misunderstanding because there is a lot of fake or bad information floating online. Because every time we see some guy who has nothing better to do but just to troll the post on the social media and talk, like how well he does and how he does this dedicated lane at $5 a mile, and everybody else is stupid because we do not have it. But then I know for a fact he's full of shit. Most people in the industry that's been around, we know it's full of shit, but a lot of people are gonna look into it, and now we're gonna start comparing whatever we do to the guy that most likely is sitting on the couch. He's just spitting out in the comments about something that he wishes he was doing, but in reality, none of that exists.
Look, it's a free market, right? And so contract or no contract, just think about this, man. You go to fuel up. Aren't you looking for the most economical solution?
Of course.
So that dedicated shit, everybody is always shopping. Even though you're in the middle of a contract, they're always shopping what's going to be their alternative after you're gone. They're looking for a cheaper price to get it done. That's just natural. So you have to know that. I mean, there's a lot of times I've been involved in certain situations where you lose a set of work because the sales team leaves, some guy in sales leaves, and he takes that committed freight with him. And now it's gone. And so you did everything right, and
it happens all the time. I think my main frustration comes from the fact that that bad information is sending a lot of people go nuts, and now we're fighting the system because here's the real situation, right? How did we drop our customers? When the market started coming down,
the prices came down.
And we came down to the point where we actually are getting a much, much better rates in the spot market than providing a spotless service to a dedicated customer. Dedicated customers are actually, in my opinion, are very easy to get. Not the ones that everybody is talking online, because those don't exist. Because if I'm just going to be telling like, oh, all dedicated lanes are paying $5 a mile and da-da-da-da-da, all that is bullshit. I'm just like participating in that rat race.
Yeah.
The reality is most dedicated stuff is being done by mega carriers, and we can do a lot of volume for very, very cheap, for cheaper than you as an owner-operator or a fleet owner can ever do. So our challenge was this: once at the point when we for sure can get a lot more money out of spot market, we're 100% owner operators. So once our guys, abandon even for a week that dedicated lane, whatever we were doing, and we jumped into the spot market, we're like, shit, man, I can make a lot more money doing this.
For sure. Yep.
And now I cannot. Now I'm like, hey, Johnny, the customer called. He needs his shit moved.
Like, you're not going to send him to.
And Johnny is like, no, I'm not going to do that shit for this much.
Yeah, because that breaking point comes pretty quick. Like, trust me, man. These guys are like, hey, we're giving you volume. Where's our discount? Where's our discount? Not only do you get to a breaking point where the owner-operator says, no way, this is not profitable, but not just that. The carrier, remember, like what nobody talks about, you're allocating trailers there. And so you have assets in their yard just doing nothing for you.
And a lot of times those assets are being used
storage and all that.
storage, and we may even put it on the other carrier, and now you're getting your equipment dragged all over the place.
Yeah, so I mean, you like we said, there's cycles in all of this. So some guys came into probably some dedicated work, and it was a good thing, nice thing for maybe a year or 2 years. And a lot of people we're from Florida, so there's Reed. They got hurt, man, because it was a company that built around some dedicated customers. People built 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 truck companies out of that. But once that show was over, very difficult to adapt to a market and keep your drivers with you, because you're talking about having guys that have been so used to a certain run, work, their lifestyle is established to that. That guy's not really following you into the woods, man. Like, it's gonna be difficult.
And also, like, is that guy gonna be able to maintain that same customer? Probably not. It's gonna go to a totally different carrier, totally different business layout, and even if that carrier is also gonna outsource a little bit of that to owner operators, it does not mean that we're gonna be paying just as much. We probably got that contract because we underbid the previous carrier, so we don't even have the money that you were getting at some point. And it's all I guess survival of the fittest. And my biggest challenge is that the dream is top freight, premium rates whenever I want it, as much as I want it, around my schedule. But unfortunately, it's always around the shipper schedule, whatever we want, however we want it. A lot of times it's very, very inconvenient, because we've been negotiating with a couple of customers that on the surface, that deal seems okay. But because of the scheduling, because of the way it comes down to, I can, let's say, if I put 2 trucks on that lane, everything has to be so perfect for that to work. If I put 3 trucks, that's not enough work for 3 trucks.
But you need 3 trucks.
But you need 3 trucks in order to provide on-time service. Because otherwise you're going to lose it.
Yeah, because there's always a breakdown. There's always some kind of event going on.
And this is why you cannot compete with Schneider, Swift, and everything else, because these guys, we can put unlimited number of drivers. We get drivers for very, very cheap out of a school. As a matter of fact, a lot of schools we run.
Yeah, and they have they're just looking to gain market share, even if
yes,
that's all it is.
And that's the reality of a dedicated lanes. I've seen a few good lanes from my time in trucking, but again, I'm being realistic. Like, a lot of times, like the dedicated lanes that I have done, I knew, this is gonna last like 2 months. This is gonna last 3 months. So you jump on it, you ride with that, and then when it's over, you don't waste all your resources trying to repeat something that you cannot repeat.
Even though your inner self is like, please, one more month.
Yeah. But the reality, once you know. And then you just carry on, because at the end of the day, you gotta be making money. Your business cannot rely on something that is so inconsistent, and inconsistent it is.
Like, there's even the other side of that trap. I remember we wanted a piece of this dedicated lane that exists. So there's already 2 carriers in there, right? And then the illusion that they're gonna introduce a 3rd, but really all you are is just overflow. And probably like a scare tactic to somebody else, like, oh man, here comes another carrier entering. Get our shit straight before this guy comes in and takes something. And again, seasonal, you recruit a whole thing around it. You get the drivers, you get this, and then poof, bye. So it goes away.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's it's all smoke and mirrors when you think about it, because a lot of these, let's say the shipper introduces a 3rd carrier, because we want to keep everybody on toes. We want to keep everybody in check as far as the pricing, and so on and on and on. But then it creates the lack of, let's say, volume.
Yeah, for sure.
And now my top guys that were doing that thing, like no problem on time delivery, now we start like getting a short hand. Now somebody else from another carrier picks up the load that my guy should have picked up. And now it becomes very inconsistent for all 3 carriers.
Right. And then, I get a lot of recruiting calls basically on that, right? Guys left with no load for 2 days, 1 day over the weekend or whatever.
This is your dedicated lane.
Yeah, for sure. So the guys are like, and like immediately what you want to say is, you gave my load to that guy, right? Like, so easy. You're not really understanding man, there's just not enough loads right now. So for sure,
not enough loads, or again, the shipper is shopping for a better deal. And just because, let's say, you only have seen, let's say, Schneider had that contract, and you only seen Schneider trucks, now all of a sudden there are Swift trucks. And now all of a sudden, Schneider trucks are sitting, Swift trucks are running.
yeah. So even to do that, when we were doing our dedicated, I would get calls because guys are like, "Hey, man, I noticed you're posting up some trailers here," and they read between the lines, and hey, so already they're, that driver's gonna go and try to follow that work. But if a shipper's gonna put another carrier in, they're also going to take advantage of that opportunity to probably do a rate drop.
Absolutely.
Not 100%. A rate increase. That wouldn't even make sense.
So unless you totally suck at service level, of course, we're going to be like, hey, let's quote. Let's see who can do it for a better, than whatever we get. Yeah. And now all that stuff is going away. This is why I'm saying, even those like big dogs, besides the market seasons, there is also shopping seasons. There is also, large carriers fighting for a market share seasons. And now everybody is just trying to underbid everything because at the very, very top of trucking, where big dogs at, like the executives of Schneider's, Swifts, and so on. Just like you said, for a small fleet or for owner-operator, money, that's what matters. The actual money that you can make, right?
Yeah.
For these guys, market share is a value.
Yeah,
because we're gonna get this large customer that's gonna give them an XXX zillion market share, and now it's gonna create that much revenue, and now we're gonna go to the bank and we're gonna present that type of business model.
Yeah,
but that's how we live.
Yeah, because even if you look at it, man, like even on the small packages, FedEx, UPS, and now Amazon, right? So they're pretty much just negotiating. The plane's going there anyway. So the fuller it is, the less per unit to get, that is going to be cost. So they don't really care at a certain point. But if you only have a plane that is a quarter way full, man, you're really counting the pennies as to, who is the next customer, because it's part of the cost. It's part of, you need that revenue to sustain the cost.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are like some major challenges again in dedicated lanes. For my perspective, I don't give a crap about them because I know what I know. I think it's smart to always shop. I think it is smart for us as well to always keep an eye for it, throw some quotes in, see what we can do. But for the most part, like I'm never gonna quote customer for under the market rate.
Right.
And usually that's what it takes to get a customer. Yeah. So usually because again, we are 100% owner-operator company. So when I'm quoting a customer, I'm quoting for enough money to excite an owner-operator. I'm quoting for enough money to where my owner-operator is going to say, man, this is pretty sweet. So those things, they do happen, but they not happen very often.
No, and then you also have, when you're trying to move those drivers to a different set of work because you're adapting, are they even going to follow you? Number one. Number two, a great dispatcher in that dedicated world doesn't necessarily mean he's a great dispatcher in the spot market world.
Absolutely not. These are like two different breeds of dispatchers. Like I joke around, our dispatchers from a spot market, those are savages. These guys, they can hit.
Yeah,
we can make money no matter what. The load planners, man, I've seen the people coming over to this side and they fail miserably.
And again, they're in their world. They're managing customers, they're managing complaints, they're managing the drivers, and who does what, this, that. But until you do spot market, so that's what we say, diversify your stuff, guys. If you're, 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks, have a couple trucks in the spot market, get a little bit of a taste of that. In the event you have to jump to do something like that, you've been exposed already. Because if not, it's a bucket of cold water, man.
And also, I would say, again, until you get to the level of Schneider and Swift and so on, and again, you got to be at the top of those companies, not at the bottom. If you're just a driver or owner operator, you're never going to see the money. However, if you're at the top, that's where you see the money from a market share. I think the smart plan would be, I would personally, as an owner-operator, and I used to do that when I was an owner-operator, I would stick to the carrier that does really, really well in the spot market. And here and there, we would land a nice account. That's not gonna last forever. Like we already knew, like okay, it's let's say February, March, April, John Deere account.
Yeah, so there
Boom.
you go.
And I know, okay, these are like 2-3 months that we're gonna be running like crazies. We're gonna take those John Deere tractors one way. We're gonna get paid for both ways, and we're gonna load back.
Yeah.
Only because of that. That's good. But you're gonna do that with a large carrier. We're not gonna let you to load back.
No, and then it complicates it because these large carriers, right? You already have a rotation probably in that market. So let's say you had something from PA, you're getting a round trip, but all of a sudden this John Deere comes in temporary, and now it pays more coming back. So the guys that are doing the work that's going out there now are challenged because their reload is a lot less than that new reload that's in there. So now you're challenged, like, okay, give the old guys this reload, but yeah, man, it brings back operational nightmares.
And at the same time, like imagine this, like as an owner operator, let's say you're a small fleet owner, right? And you have like 2 trucks. One truck you drive yourself, another truck you have a driver, right? Let's just say the company lands a pretty nice account for about 2 months that pays a little bit more than your regular year-round run.
Mm-hmm. It's only 2 months.
Maybe you as an owner operator, you know what's at stake, so you're gonna be okay. I'm gonna do that for 2 months. By the way, I never seen an account that says, "Oh, it's only gonna be 2 months." The way we sell it every single time, man, that's a year-round project. We're gonna have like unlimited number of rate and da happens all the time. All that is BS. The reality is this: we need you right now, so we need you to be pumped about. We need you to throw them the best deal that we can get.
Yeah, and then you throw them with an expensive or what the price should be, but there's a lot coming down, and there's more to there's more to grab. So
and what we're really trying to do, we're trying to lowball on the seasonal demands. So you kind of say, all right, let's do that for less, but it's gonna be a year round. Nothing is gonna be a year round. Soon as that season is over, you're gonna be left hanging like there is no tomorrow. And for those of you that's gonna say, but that's fucking bullshit, because it kind of is bullshit, but like that's just
but it's reality. Because think about this, man.
Reality.
Like, again, UPS's, FedEx's of the world, and even Amazon, right? These guys are always preparing for peak season.
Yeah.
Because November, October, December, right? So you have this major spike in volume. As soon as January hits, like, all right, man, you got returns and shit, but like, you don't need that infrastructure to sustain that. So let me ask, what happens to all of that surplus? It's gone. They got to get rid of it. Yeah. And next year, you do it again because they're prepping for that influx under the illusion of, drivers get hired and whatever. Hey, man, they might keep you after peak if you do really, really good, right? So it's the same sob story. Always. That's what we prepare for, is peak seasons.
Yeah, but here we go. So these are the challenges of dedicated lanes. Again, I think it's worth shop around, but I never seen anything like truly, truly good. I've seen something below average, but very, very consistent, lasting a long time. I've seen that. Man. But something that's above average, I never seen anything lasting longer than, I don't know, maybe a year, but that's the best case scenario. I've seen mostly like 2-3 months run.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. So that's the reality of dedicated lanes. Again, we don't pay nowhere near as much. A dedicated lane really means that you pretty much dedicating your capacity to the shipper.
That's pretty much all it means.
And that's it. And the shipper does not dedicate anything to you. We kind of give you like, this is what we're projecting, but if the freight is not there, we're not going to be paying you to haul empty trailers.
There we go.
So now you guys know. Drop us in the comments below how much you hate us for telling you the truth. But here we go. That's the reality. And to that one guy who's going to come to a comment section and going to say, everybody is stupid because I'm running at $5 a mile doing this Lakeland to Wisconsin and back every week for $17,000. Come on, guy. This is the wrong place to be. And you guys don't get discouraged because of that guy. Tell him the truth. Tell him that he is full of shit, because he is.
And I did really good. I never slammed the table.
You did, actually. couple of times before this time.
All right, guys. Be safe, drive safe. We'll talk soon.
Take care, guys.